Welcome to Allie and Christian Code, the show where passion meets expertise in the world of software engineering. I'm Allie, a former healthcare provider turned software developer.
And I'm Christian, an experienced software engineer. We are here to share our learnings together as we find collaboration is better than going alone. All right. So recently, Microsoft released .NET 9. That
Mhm.
is their yearly update of changes. And we wanted to take a look at a few things and see what might be an improvement or where they're headed. Wanted to see by comparing a .NET 8 project to a .NET 9 project, um, does that actually improve the reconnection experience? And if so, in what ways?
Mhm.
So to start with, I'm using a Mac, so I will use Rider. I'm going to create a new solution. I'm going to start out with .NET 8. I do have .NET 9 installed already. We are going to say Blazor reconnect demo. We want to make sure to select a Blazor web application as the template type. Another one we might look for, I don't have any other templates installed, it looks like, so we'll stick with Blazor web app for now.
What's the other one you were going to look for?
Yeah, there's a library called Blazor that has a set of templates that provides some components that are styled like material design. And that comes with style sheets and JavaScript and some other things. And there was another, curious to see how that looked differently than out of the box Blazor. But for this specific purpose of the reconnect, this will still work fine. We don't really need authentication for this case or Docker. So I think none of the other settings will be necessary for us today. Let's go ahead and create that project. That is one of the nice things about I find about .NET things with these templates. They give you a pretty decent starting point to at least get up and running right away. So if I were to take a look at this program file, we are going to see here that it is set up to use Razor components and interactive server components. And down here as well, they are mapping Razor component and interactive server render mode. These are the items that are Blazor. So the Razor is the style that we use or the file type that we use to determine the HTML layout of our pages, as well as any logic that needs to happen on them. And the interactive server part is the way that that communicates across the user's browser to the server. And that combination is at least how I think about Blazor. Expanding the components folder, we find that we have our some Razor files, some routes. If I have a pages folder, we have a home file and a weather file. So I can open up the home file, pretty straightforward hello world. Weather has a little bit more going on in it. It has a table with some data points. So again, it gave me this as a way for me to learn and a way for me to get started and make sure that all of the pieces were wired up correctly. I should be able to now hit the run button and have that load into my browser without having to do any additional setup. And there it does. That's pretty powerful, I find. That's not
Mhm.
necessarily usual for every framework or programming language
Mhm.
that I've experienced at least.
Yeah. And that setup can cause a lot of heartache. So to have that ready to go is so nice.
Absolutely. That's pretty handy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can capture that loading spinner again. Get it there. Okay, that's right.
Mm-mm.
So we're going to force that reconnect to happen by turning off the website and going back to the browser. I pull this to that side and pull this to this side so we can see both side by side. Now, if we go to the home here, now it must not let, it doesn't want to let me route because it doesn't know how to load that page up. I'm surprised that we're not seeing the loading
I
reconnect
am
screen
too.
on weather.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to refresh from here and see what that gives us. Now we're just not able to connect.
Just nothing.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and rerun the web server. Ooh, that came back up quickly.
That's fast.
How else might we think about trying to force that reconnect to happen?
Do they have it to set up to make a call, or is it just loading hard-coded data?
Good question. Let's take a look. So this tells us stream rendering, which I believe is going to suggest that we are sending data consistently to it and it's updating. But that might be a clue. I think the time I've seen the reconnect is when it's a server side rendering
Mm-hmm.
model. So that the home screen, that one doesn't have a definition. And counter has an interactive server. Perhaps we should take a
Try
look at
that
the
one.
counter file instead. So that is got a button and a count. If we were to stop running now, there we go. Now we're seeing what I was
There it
expecting,
is.
the reconnect to server. Excellent.
Okay.
Yep,
Server
that's a
side, good to know.
important distinction is server side rendering. Okay, so it's
Yes, this is very important.
spinning and it's covering and it's counting up. In the past, what I've experienced is now if I rerun my server side, it won't actually ever reconnect. Let's
You have
see,
to refresh it every
let's
time.
see if it works. Launch to a different tab, okay. And in this previous tab, it gave up and it did not reconnect. That's
Hmm.
disappointing, but kind of expected. If we
Yes.
refresh, we're there again. We did lose our count. That's
Hmm.
to be expected. In this case, we're
Yes.
storing it entirely in that instance and not to a database of any sort or any data store at all. Okay, great. We have an example and we've seen what it does currently with .NET 8. So now we'll go figure out how hard it's going to be to upgrade to .NET 9 and what different
See
experience
what it
there is.
does.
We'll stop the server and go full screen on the IDE for this. We're going to right click on the project and go to properties. I'm going to change the target framework here, .NET 8 to .NET 9. I don't see it as an option there. We did see it
Hmm.
earlier.
We
Okay,
did.
here's another way we can do this. Right click, edit the CS proj file. And this is equivalent to that page we were just looking at, right? This file drives what's in that page and what
Mhm.
selections are there. So I could be able to change it just as easily as that from 8 to 9. Okay.
Why do you think that wasn't reflected in the properties?
So I have installed it, but I haven't run one with it yet. That's one potential.
Hmm.
Another potential is Writer, the IDE that we're looking at, has said that they are not yet up to date fully for .NET 9. So it's possible that
Maybe it's
their
just that.
systems didn't give it as an option. I do
Hmm.
find it interesting. These other tabs have gone to red squigglies now. So we might
Yeah.
hop over and see what is happening over there. Okay. So it's got some complaints. Let's see if we just do a build if those complaints go away. It is telling us that the current .NET SDK does not support targeting .NET 9. Interesting. Let's see what happens if we go back to creating a new solution and choose .NET
Hmm.
9 from the get-go with the same choices. I'll put these side by side now and so we can
Hmm.
compare. Looks like our
Looks about this.
structure and things there are about the same.
Hmm. Yeah.
Those seem pretty similar as well.
Hmm. What we would expect.
Page,
Love us a
count,
hello world.
counter page, counter page. Yep.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and run this side and see what it looks like. And then maybe we can revisit the original and see if we can't
Hmm.
determine something about why. Okay.
Could be a problem if you have a project that you want to update. Writer, come on, get it together.
All right. So pages themselves look identical.
Hmm.
So now I'll turn off this server. Ooh,
Oh, we still kind of have a spinner,
yeah.
but a fancier spinner.
But the real question is going to be, does it
What's going to happen when it comes
work
back?
to reconnect?
There it goes.
It
Oh
did.
no, is that the
It
old
did
one?
reconnect. Nope.
Oh, good.
This is 9. It did reconnect. I should set this up so it doesn't launch into a new instance. I can do that through the launch settings in the properties folder. This defines what is being run and executed here. And it says launch browser through in this case. So if I set that to false, now I should be able to run this without launching to a new tab, and then we should be able to see the experience of this reconnecting. And there it did.
And it gave us a little notification rejoining. I love that. A little feedback.
Much, much nicer experience
Yes,
there.
very much so.
Excellent. All right, so now let's go back to trying to find out what is different between this project and this project as to why it didn't want us to update.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In theory, we could look at, I made changes to the project. We also have a solution, so perhaps I need to change the solution. I don't
Instead
see a
of just the
choice
project.
there. Okay. The error was that the current .NET SDK, perhaps I need to manage the .NET SDK. Okay,
Well,
here
that'll
we
give you
go.
the
This
option,
is
right? Oh,
promising. There we go. Here's that message from before I was
looks good.
alluding to, that it's not fully supported, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the red went away. And let's see if this launches. And it does.
There we go.
Recall we did not change the launch settings here, so it launched into a new tab.
Sure.
But it now has an updated experience. So
Nice.
make sure to manage the SDK first, and then .NET 9 should show up as a choice for you in your target framework, and you can switch there very
Hmm.
easily.
Do you think you'll have to do that for every project
Um,
that you would want to
Most
upgrade?
likely, yes, I think most likely. Or perhaps when Writer fully supports .NET 9, maybe it'll make that switch for you automatically.
Mm-hmm.
It's save for solutions. Yeah, that would be my guess. What would be curious is if we were down on 8 and the project was on 8
Mm-hmm.
and we switched the SDK, would it bump the project or not? Let's find out.
I'm gonna guess not.
Okay. Update the solution first. It's doing some stuff behind the scenes.
Thinking. Oh,
We check the properties of the project. You are correct. It is still targeting .NET 8. So yes, you would need
yeah.
to
Gotta update both.
make some intentional choices to upgrade each and
Mm-hmm.
everything you want forward.
Good to know.